Alright guys, that's all I've got to play for that. If you want to listen to the rest of it, the credit for that song goes out to Yuzo Boy, and the song title is Slow Moon Groove Remix OC. Welcome guys to the second official Streets of Rage online podcast. I'm your host Streetsman. We're here to talk about everything that's going on in the community, news, music, everything that's going on with that. Streets of Rage Remake version 5 right now. New slogan for this podcast: your community, your voice. And it's really true. You can be part of this and be interactive with it as much as you want by sending your questions and comments into me by private messaging me or commenting the Streets of Rage online podcast topic. So I'm going to start off here with another piece of work that our boy Yuzo did. And it's a remake for actually Streets of Rage Remake version 5. Now, unfortunately, I can't show you the video of this, but hey, we can show you the audio of it, and that's what we're going to do right now. So, take a listen to what Yuzo Boy has crafted for us. Gotta say, great job done by Yuzo Boy there on that trailer. Streets of Rage Remake version 5 is probably the biggest game that we've had in this community since Streets of Rage 3 came out. But people have, of course online wasn't around back then, but, this game right now is just driving so much activity through our forums right now. We've been having a lot of heavy traffic lately, and I'm glad to say that it's, mostly I'd say because Bomber Games is down right now, which is, an unfortunate thing for us as a community to have them down and not have them up to answer questions about Streets of Rage online, of course. But those guys, they've got it figured out. They've got it tooled up there. I'm confident that they're gonna get things back and rolling. Hopefully the situation with Sega is panned out really soon. I have a post here done by, actually Matt had sent this to me. It was the full statement by Sega, which I can read to you now. I didn't read it before because I didn't have it in front of me, but I have it now, and I'll go ahead and find it up here and read it to you. He titled this topic, Bomber Games What Is Known. Sega forced them to remove the download, and this is what he's saying. Sega forced them to remove the download because they're protecting their intellectual property. They released the following statement. This is what Sega said, and I quote, "Sega is committed to supporting any fans that take an interest in our games, and where possible, we do so by involving them in beta tests and other development, marketing, or research opportunities. However, we need to protect our intellectual property rights, and this may result in us requesting that our fans remove online imagery, videos, games, in some instances, a Tracky port, And from Matt, this says, a Tracky port of Streets of Rage 2 is being released on iPhone at the same time, and basically Sega didn't want Bomber Games affecting their sales. Also, Bomber Games asked for donations to keep their site running, and Sega mistakenly thought that they were trying to profit from Streets of Rage Remake. Ultimately, it was a misunderstanding and a bad move on Sega's part. By the way, nothing new there. Sega's always been doing dumb shit lately. It just proves how out of touch they are with their fan base. That's the truth. They don't listen to their fans. They do whatever they want, and they say screw you to the fans. And over a period of time, people aren't going to act too kindly to that. And you've seen that with recent Sega games. The only good game I can think by Sega that's been done in the last 5 years, the good game series, Yakuza. I like that game series. I think it's solid. Other than that, I can't find a lot that I like about them. They've run Sonic into the ground. And they've been disrespecting Streets of Rage. Shinobi hasn't gotten anything going lately. Golden Axe got screwed over. Shitty game. Beast Rider, awful. One of the worst games I've ever played in my entire life. Dead serious. And of course, finishing off what Matt said, it says no word yet on how things have turned out. We have to wait and see what happens. I'm sure when the website comes back in May, we will know something more about what is going on with the situation with Bomber Games. I would hope that they would address it. The only reason I don't think that they would is if they haven't completely resolved this issue. But I would hope by then they would have a statement for us, and hopefully we can get back to them having the download on their site. But hey, if they don't, if they can't do that, we've got it here at Streets of Rage Online, so I'm not going to worry about it as much. We have some comments now I want to read off by our boy Shadow. He sent me one question here. There's actually sent me two. But this first one I'm bringing you is, what is your favorite song in the Streets of Rage series? My gosh, what a question to ask. I've got many favorites, but I've got a Streets of Rage Super Mix is probably my favorite out of Streets of Rage 2. That was a pretty good remix. I really enjoyed that one. The whole Streets of Rage 2 soundtrack is superb, along with 1. 3 is pretty good, but I like 1 and 2 the best. But anyway, we've got, and then of course he has another question here for me. Let me get to it real quick in my inbox here. It says, what do you like most about this site? Well, okay, this for me is an easy question. It's consistent. This site has been here 10 years now. What I've always enjoyed about it is consistency. The design has stayed the same, especially when Expanded Universe converted to online. And of course we became that. We stuck pretty consistent with what has always been, and I was really appreciative that we went back to that format. So you would say, oh hey, are you an enemy of the new design? No. I think it's great because I think that from what I've seen from the preview of the new design that RedRum's building, it's respectful to this one. It's not changing anything super drastic. It's keeping it kind of in the same context. But this site, I really enjoy that part about it. The background's great. It's got a good feel to it. The people in this community are great. I gotta tell you, there's some communities out there that I can't stand. I used to be big in the Sega community and all that stuff, and I had my own forums, 3 or 4 years back. And I was doing pretty good with it too, but they didn't like any new entries into their community, and I pretty much had to shut my forum down. So coming over here, it's been great. I love this community. Best people, best group. It's kind of like an online family out here, so I really like this community for that reason. I would also have to say I like the forums a lot, but that's not fair for me to say, I guess, because that's the area I work in. But I do love the site, so it is great. We do have a question here, though. I have to go pull up the Streets of Rage Online topic off website support, and boom. Question is from Nikon. It says, like the podcast, I have 2 questions. By the way, thank you for that. Streets of Rage Remake 5 Streets of Rage Maker does not have any instructions. Do you know where I can get any kind of documentation besides the manual, which does not give any information on how to use the application? Well, we don't have anything right now. I tried to dig up something for you. I couldn't find anything, unfortunately, so what I would suggest to you is wait till Bomber Games' site comes back up in May, and on their forums they will have an answer. When they have their answer there, I'm sure that someone will come over here, post that answer. So you can either wait for someone to post it here when that site comes back up, or just keep checking for them. come back up. Right now their site is down because of bandwidth, capacity being overfilled. It says, do I have to create my own map levels to use the Streets of Rage Maker, and what program can I use to do this if I must make my own map levels? Well, I'll answer one part of that I do know. I don't think you have to make your own map levels. I'm pretty sure about that. The rest of it, like I said, you got to get with Bomber Games or stick with us and we'll have it on this site eventually. But yeah, that's a lot of mods going on right now. Glisp has made a mod and the demo of it has been released on our website. I played through it, the one stage demo, loved it. Took some music off of the Power Rangers video, put it in there, and it worked fantastic. I enjoyed it. The music flowed extremely well with the gameplay, and it was great. I enjoyed it. Right now, another thing, we have Streets of Rage Remakes version 5 soundtrack is on the brink of being released. Matt is putting it together as, well, I don't know, as we speak. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. Who knows, I'm not spying on Matt. But I do know that he is putting it together, and for the next site update, he will release the official soundtrack to Streets of Rage Remake version 5, which is what I'm going to talk to you about here today. Version 4 soundtrack versus version 5 soundtrack. I've heard this debate. I'll give you my personal take on it. I think Streets of Rage Remake version 5 has more songs in it, and I think that's really good. I liked version 4 soundtrack a lot. It had some tracks on there that were very personal to me during, times that I was going through that were not very good, 3 or 4 years ago. Really tough times going on. But I was able to listen to those songs, and they kind of calmed me down and relaxed me. Believe it or not, Streets of Rage music relaxing, but yeah, it was. And version 5, it hasn't had the same for me, but I'm not going through the same really rough patch. And Streets of Rage Remake version 4 was kind of kind of like candy to me. But, some soul food right there, but I love version 5 soundtrack. Don't get me wrong, it's a great soundtrack. If you wanted to compare the two, I would say that they're both on the same plateau because they were both done extremely well, and they were very thought out. And the guys that put that together, definitely my hats go off to them. They did an extraordinary job on it, and I couldn't be happier with the product. So another thing, I was playing through Streets of Rage Remake, and I did not know this till I had unlocked everything in the game, that you could use the Streets of Rage 1 Axel and Blaze. Now, how cool is that? I thought that was amazing myself, because I love Streets of Rage 1 Axel. Now I can run with him and do the bare knuckle. I love it. I think it's great. So, that was really cool. I really enjoyed, playing through some stages today, just doing that. With Blaze, of course, all those players, man, for Streets of Rage 1, Axel, Adam, Blaze, they're just badass in this remake. And I couldn't be happier. I'm still happy about this game being out, and I still want questions and comments on it, man. We'll carry as long as Streets of Rage Remake can make some story, we're gonna keep putting it on here. We really enjoy it over here. And I jumped on the forums today, and I discovered we've had 6 new members that have registered. 6. We were at 53 yesterday, and we're at 59 today. So that was unexpected. I can see that since the Bomber Games forum has been down, I think that we're getting people from there here because they know that, we're going to do the same thing that they pretty much basically do as far as report what's there. People can post topics. We're not going to get mad if people overflow the Streets of Rage fan game section with stuff. We know people want to talk about this game right now, so we're not penalizing anybody for anything like that. But I'm just so happy with what's going on with it right now. Next podcast we're gonna record probably will be. I'll try to do one here in a couple weeks, maybe a week, maybe 2. More questions and comments are welcome, guys. I'd like to see if y'all can get that stuff to me, and next podcast hopefully we have Streets of Rage Remake version 5 official music released, and course, I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart to the guys that complimented me on the first podcast. I was really winging it there as much as I could, but I wanted it to be really good, and I was really trying there, and I appreciate that you guys gave me those comments and encouragement. So thank you very much. All right, guys, like I said, private message me, send me comments. Also, questions, like I said, top in the Streets of Rage Online podcast topic. Go ahead, put them down. We'll see y'all next time here on the Streets of Rage Online podcast. Your community, your voice.